people in time where they made a covenant with you and they didn't keep to it. But in all that humanity and compromise, there's always the future pointing to a Mashiach, a king who will get it right, who will be the truly human one. And so we thank you that you, Jesus, were that, the one who come, Emmanuel, God with us. We thank you. Amen. Okay. You guys ready? How many times can you appear before the parole board? Amos chapter 1, verse 1 through 14. The Lord Yahweh showed me this. There, a basket of ripe fruit. He said, what are you looking at, Amos? I said, a basket of ripe fruit. Yahweh said to me, the ripe time has come for my people Israel. I shall not again pass over it anymore. The Palestinians will wail on that day, a declaration of the Lord Yahweh. He has thrown down many a corpse in every place. Hush. Listen to this, you who trample the needy person, who will eliminate the lowly people in the country, saying, when will the new moon be over so we can sell wheat, and the Sabbath so we can lay out grain? Making the measure small but the shekel big, falsifying the scales by deceit, buying the poor. You know, guys, what scales are? So when that's a good. So during market, you'll see like the like here. Let me just easily just be easier just to weights, scales, weight, scales, market. You don't have it. How about Lady Liberty? Oh, Lady Justice. Lady Justice. So, Lady Justice, like she has the scales, like those scales, right? So during marketing, they'll use a counterweight. So like you'll say like a pound of gold. So there'll be a literal pound here. And so when you pay, so when it says that they're using the wrong weight, it was a form of injustice because guess what? Like what if I told people, or I need a pound of gold, but this turns out to be like a 2 pound on there, they'll think they're putting like a pound of wheat, but when they're really just putting 2 pounds of wheat. That's lying and deceit. Yeah. It was an ancient way of scamming. Listen to this, you who trample the needy person, who will limit the lowly people in the country, saying, when will the new moon be over, so we can sell wheat, and the Sabbath, so we can lay out grain? Taking the measure small, but the shekel big, falsifying the scales by deceit. Scales. Buying the poor people for silver, the needy person for a pair of sandals, and selling sweepings as grain. Yahweh has sworn by the majesty of Jacob's, if I ever discard any of their doings, for this will the earth not shake, and everyone who lives in it mourn? Will it all not rise like the Nile, surge and sink like Egypt's Nile? On that day, a declaration of the Lord Yahweh, I shall make the sun set at noon. I make the earth dark during daylight. I shall turn your festivals into mourning, all your songs into lamentation. I shall put sackcloth on all bodies, shortness on every head. I shall make it like the mourning for an only child. It's in a truly bitter day. There, days are coming, a declaration of Lord Yahweh, when I shall send famine through the country. Not famine of bread, not thirst for water, but rather of hearing Yahweh's words. People will wander from sea to sea and roam from north to east to seek Yahweh's message, but not find it. On that day, beautiful girls and young men will faint with thirst. People who swear by the sin of Samaria and say, as your God lives, Dan, and as the way to Beersheba lives, will fall and not rise again. So, deceitful practices, Yahweh's judgment, and the outcome of that judgment is there's going to be just misery. The misery that they have ascribed on others will be applied back on them. In due course, the prisoner I refer to put in another application for parole because his priest friend badgered him to do so. He had no hope of its being granted, and it would have been easier to settle down and accept that he'll be in prison until he died. If he hadn't asked, his application wouldn't have been granted. But he did ask, and it was, even then, he had a hard time believing that the parole board had said yes. When you're granted parole, apparently prisons put you in solitary confinement for a while because you may commit suicide or other prisoners may attack you. In Amos' third vision, Yahweh had said he wouldn't pass over Ephraim again, and Amos didn't put in another application for mercy, as that prisoner did not for some while. This dynamic reoccurs in his fourth vision, which completes the sequence after the digression describing Amazah's reaction to his message and relaying how Amos came to be a prophet. There are times when prayers get answered and times when they don't. And the sequence within the four visions, two where Amos prays. All right, I need focus states, my friend. And the sequence within the four visions, two where Amos prays and gets an answer, and two where he doesn't, might seem to imply that there are times to pray and times not to pray. Yet maybe the visions declaring that Yahweh will never again pass over the people are designed as another way to get through their thick skulls. So like as the God of the Bible, Yahweh is going, that's it. You pray for mercy. Even if you pray, I'm not going to respond. It's like Yahweh says that, hoping that they repent, to make them change and seek God's restoration. While the point about Amos' prayers is to get God to have a change of mind and relent about acting in judgment, the point about reporting the prayers to people so that they end up in Amos' book is to change the people. The report of the first two visions seek to get them to see that it's possible for God to relent. The report of the third and fourth to get them to see that you can't assume this possibility will be open forever. If a child asks a parent for something and the parent has reason to say no, this refusal may stop the child asking again. And sometimes the parent may then have reason to have a change of mind. And the relationship of children to parent is a scriptural model for prayer. The main part of this chapter further nuances the wrongs in Ephraim that demand Yahweh's judgment. Yahweh has already made clear that he doesn't care for the people coming to worship. He doesn't care for the way they have itching feet during worship because they want to resume business, especially because the business they want to resume is based on dishonesty. The final paragraph adds a new twist to the nature of God's judgment. Amos has referred already to the way the Ephraimites, in effect, told prophets not to prophesy. Okay, then, says God, I'll send no more prophets. You can want to hear a message from God, but be unable to get one. Once again, this is a threat designed to be self-frustrating. If only they'll start listening to Yahweh's message, then the threat need never be implemented. But people are so committed to their loyalty to the sin of Samaria, that is, okay, so now we're going to know what the sin of Samaria is. That is the alien god that the Sumerians worship, that they won't do so. The reference to pilgrimage to Beersheba completes a pairing of the sanctuaries at the northern and southern extremes of Israel as a whole, from Dan to Beersheba. All right, friends, we can start. What's up, Magnus? Handsome. Boom, 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 boom.
I'll sign.
Look on the bright side, Ted. From here on out, you get to do what you've always been good at. Footing the bill while others get their hands dirty.
God forgive me.
What made her solution so terrible? What did she do to stop the robots?
Executive access detected. Express lift opened.
Have to re-listen to that one. is Horizon Zero Dawn.
This doesn't add up. Sobek couldn't have been my mother. She lived ages ago. All this searching, and I'm still no closer.
That's your reaction to everything you've just learned? To whine like a spoiled child?
You should really try talking that way to me face to face.
As you wish. Do you really have no idea how monumental are the discoveries you just made, Aloy? I expected more of you.
So, you have a face. Got a name to go with it?
Of all the questions you could ask right now, that's the one you choose. I've spent decades searching the ruins of the old ones, trying to solve the mystery of what happened to them. For years, I've suspected that Thero robots destroyed their civilization, but I could never confirm it. And in minutes, you uncover more ancient knowledge than I have in a lifetime. And what you want to know is my name. Silence. That's my name. Now, why don't you try asking another question? Something less trivial.
All right, Silence. You've made your point. I came to these ruins hoping to learn more about this Elizabeth Sobek. And I have, but I still don't understand my connection to her. Or why the Eclipse is trying to kill me. Or who Hades is. No answers, just one question after another.
Exactly. Which is why it's time to expand your frame of inquiry. Only then will you see just how big your problems really are.
What exactly are you talking about?
You've chased a personal riddle into a crowd of larger mysteries. The common thread is your connection to Elizabeth Sobek.
But what is that connection? She couldn't have been my mother if she lived centuries ago.
We don't know the connection yet. The only way to find out is to keep going, to keep making discoveries. Thanks to you, we've only just now learned that Pharaoh robots once threatened to end life on Earth.
But it didn't happen. The Old One's civilization was destroyed, but life was saved.
Obviously. So, what did Elizabeth do? How did she stop the robots before all was lost?
What was Project Zero Dawn?
Exactly the question. Now, are you ready to go get the answer?
Of course I am.
Then why are you still standing here?
Not so fast, Silence. You've got some explaining to do.
I've told you quite enough. If you still got questions, be quick about it and stop wasting my time.
You said you've known for some time that Pharaoh war machines destroyed the civilization of the Old Ones.
The evidence pointed that way. But until now, I never knew the full scope of their danger. That they could process organic matter into fuel, or that the Horus class could manufacture more robots. Like a cauldron on legs.
But the robots we've seen so far, the Corruptors and Deathbringers, they don't do those things.
Not yet, anyway. So far, we haven't encountered any that are undamaged. At full power, who knows what they're capable of? Now, if that's enough talking, be on your way.
Oh no. I'm just getting started. You've been getting a free ride on my focus, risking nothing while I risk everything. All I have to do is take this thing off my head, and you'll be blind, deaf, and dumb. So quit complaining and answer my questions.
Very well. Proceed.
So far as I can tell, the Eclipse are just following orders. It's Hades who wants me dead. Who is he?
I don't know. The Eclipse describe him as a buried shadow, some kind of devil.
That thing that spoke to me outside, that made that focus explode. That was Hades. It didn't seem like a person or a machine. More like a phantom. With a terrible voice.
All that's certain is that he wants you dead.
Because of my connection to Elizabeth. Has to be.
Hades is using the Eclipse to resurrect ferrorobots.
But if Elizabeth found a way to stop them centuries ago, if she made special weapons, maybe Hades is worried I'll do the same thing.
In some of the ancient data I've recovered, there are hints of so-called super weapons being developed. Maybe to stop the robots, the civilization of the old ones had to destroy itself.
Who are you, Silence? And what are your intentions?
You really need to make this personal? I'm a lone wanderer who left his tribe behind a long time ago. An explorer of forbidden places, a searcher of lost knowledge. Exactly as I said.
Why do you know so much about the Eclipse?
I happen to know a lot about a lot of things. If what you're really asking is whether I work for the Eclipse or anyone else, I don't. I am nothing if not independent.
You've been using my focus to spy on me. How's that possible?
Every focus emits a signal, a voice, that only other focuses can hear. I know how to string those voices together, how to make them talk to each other, to communicate, even over vast distances.
How do you learn to do that?
Years of study and experimentation. In principle, it's not so different from how you override machines. I override focuses.
And you can spy through other Eclipse's focuses too.
Usually. All I'll say is that overriding the connections is complicated.
Is there any chance that Elizabeth Sobek could still be alive somehow?
It's highly unlikely, but not impossible. Some of the ancient data I've recovered includes mentions of life extension techniques. Pharmaceuticals mostly, an ancient word for medicine. But some were still trying to perfect ways of freezing and unfreezing people.
Freezing and unfreezing people?
Cryogenics, they called it. But there were problems with it. Given Elizabeth's technological acumen, I can't definitively rule out that she found a way to make herself immortal. But this is speculation. Wasting time.
Elizabeth told Ted Faro she was headed for a place called U.S. Robot Command to tell people about Zero Dawn.
The place still exists as a ruin. The Asaram call it the Grave Horde.
Grave Horde? Cheery name.
You'll find it in the eastern mountains, buried under the tangled coils of a metal devil, or a BOR-7 Horus, rather, as we're learning to call them. I'll contact you when you get there.
I can't wait. Someday we'll meet in person, and your manners had better be improved. Well, getting down will be a lot faster than getting up here, at least. U.S. Robot Command next. To learn the secrets of Zero Dawn. Not enough snow to bury me. Always use these. Eclipse.
I'm not showing any focuses at that location. Shouldn't be anything you can't handle on your own. Carry on.
Thanks. On my own, all right.
Fire! I need to...
Grave hoard. In the shadow of a metal devil. Great.
Serious.
They're inside too.
Titan inbound, same play as Akron. Base defense locks it down. We engage, sever the limbs, blast out the fountains.
Another day in the life. Record time, very close. Anti-MRB on point. Hoorah!
A battle. Frozen in ice and time.
It got through. Titan is through the defenses. Still on approach. A live one. And he's pissed.
We've got no mobility in here. It'll punch right through us.
We hold the hedge at all costs. Then push back out.
Are you getting this, Silence? Silence?
Looks like quite an enduring victory we put our foot in today.
Contact in 30 seconds.
Hey, think that's enough time for Sobek to finish Zero Dawn?
If this is really it, I gotta say, it's been an honor to serve beside these tanks.
Here it comes.
Brace for contact!
Grab this now.
Battle is upon us!
History. What did that mean? Whatever it was, doesn't seem to be that does it. Time to take a look around the room. Silence, you getting this?
What is it?
All these soldiers. They died here.
People die all the time. I'll keep going and find something interesting.
Hi, Sweet Q. You gonna watch Despicable Me 3? Nice. Yeah. And is the one guy like, oh, I have been? Yeah, that's what it was. I've been a bad boy. That's what, yeah. Feeling toasty? Oh.
Must have been where the soldiers slept. Like the lodge in Mother's Heart, I guess.
Log. Third Battle of California Marine. The swarm came in from the Pacific, and I don't know if it was the local Minutemen or the crazy 15th, but they'd set the garbage patch alight. Man, the sea was on fire. That stuff was... The first wave of bots came in covered in burning sludge. They bought us an hour or two of slaughtering them on the beaches before the swarm recalculated. We pulled them inland, back through the Kalmar sprawl. Dropped buildings on them, EMP'd the grid. Standard operating procedure. The last time I was in California, I was 5, 6. The light was like that vintage social net filter that was everywhere in the 40s. Log. First battle of the eastern seaboard wall. Had a long run up to it. This was before Kalmar, and projections were a lot worse for the east. For 3 weeks, we kept getting scrambled out to some coastal burg to train Minutemen. It was always raining on account of Europe already being torched. Block after block of prefab barracks. They were still printing barracks right up until the hour the main force hit. The Minutemen? We ran combat drills with them in the streets where they'd lived, trying to pretend they might live to die somewhere else if they paid attention. Nothing worse than the ones who actually bought into it. hopeful, pestering us with questions about Zero Dawn like we know something they don't. I swear, the more we do this, the more like the bots we are. Except they learn from every fight. And us? I'm not so sure. Recalls, I've been instructed to remind you of Article 115 of base policy regarding unauthorized use of processor cycles. Specifically 115C. Any holographic simulation not directly related to operational training or efficiency. Consider yourself reminded and enjoy your gaming.
I know it's been days, honey. I'm so sorry. Deployments are getting real long and tougher every time. The swarm's getting better at predicting us. Less of us now. And we have to put in 10 times the work for everyone gone. Like a family business on hard times, only... this isn't my family. It's not with you. I still try to see you. The life we had. In the eyes of the people out there. I remember when they were glad to see us. When they still had hope. It all seems to be slipping away. I don't even recognize the places we're defending. The only thing I know I'm still fighting for is... you. For Zero Dawn to turn this around. Or whatever the hell that is. Thanks for the mails, you. Time goes fast on active duty. 4 months with the wrecking recalls. I don't know.
Furnishings were
20 drops.
metal.
In and out of the West
Probably
Coast,
uncomfortable.
fighting with these civilian
It was the metal
enlistees,
world.
scrappy guys
Guess
and
they were used
gals.
to it.
Their training is basically, here's a DEW. When you see a bot, hit it. But somehow it's all coming together. Between us and the 6th MRB, we took down a horse at Lithium Beach. Pulled out before its buddies arrived, but to see a big one go down. I hope you made the news, honey. Showed everyone we're gonna have a shot at turning this around. We just need to give Project Zero Dawn the time it needs. Then everything will be the way it used to be.
Just one bed. Maybe their war chief's room. Red light. Guess that means no power. be some kind of code. Maybe I should try scanning objects in this area. These wires must run to the power source. Maybe I should try scanning objects in this area. These wires must run to the power source. Oh, that's informative.
Hey, y'all wanted to know how I remember the geotherm system reboot? Goes like this. Bird flies north in summer, east in spring, west in fall, and south in winter. Didn't expect to hear nature poetry from the lips of Mike the GT Tech now, did you? As usual, I defy expectations. Hey, y'all wanted to know how I remember the geotherm system reboot? Goes like this. Bird flies north in summer, east in spring, west in fall, and south in winter. Didn't expect to hear nature poetry from the lips of Mike the GT Tech now, did you? As usual, I defy expectations.
3 power lines, 3 sources. That makes 1. That's two. One more. Okay, that did it. Sounds like that did it. Tools being used. And voices. More clips. Must be another way.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. I found another power cell. Yep, so after this, I'm going to go after that.
It's them, all right. They're not looking for answers. Just weapons. They're still looking.
All right. In 25 minutes, you have to go through stats, my friends.
No space.
Maybe you like the taste of nails. I mean, well, I like to add it to things. Like I like to take the nail and grind it into like
Need them
like
soon
to a
enough.
powder, and just sprinkle it on some coffee. You're not living until you had nailed infused coffee. Ooh. Sorry, I tried it. Ooh. We're doing steps in 21 minutes. So, but it'll be under an hour, so you guys can be given another Bio Project card if you so want to use it.
Thanks for the mails, you. Time goes fast on active duty. 4 months with the wreck and recalls, fighting with these civilian enlistees, scrappy guys and gals. That's all coming together. Between us and the 6th MRB, we took down a horse. I hope we made the news, honey. Showed everyone we're turning this around. We just need to give Project Zero Dawn the time it needs.
Yeah, and actually, whenever you guys just want to do the Bio Project, like we could just pause any moment to do that, and then we could play until we gotta go.
I know it's been days, honey. I'm so sorry. Deployments are getting real long. We have to put into work for everyone. Like a family business. I still see you in the eyes of the people out there. They were glad to see us. They still had hope. I'm still fighting for you.
Ames, I know I mail you too much. I'm just proud of what you're doing. Everyone back home is. We got moved inland 10 kilometers, just as a precaution, they say. School's still in session, so I get to keep my eye on Andres and Reggie. We never know where or when you're fighting, but when the VTOLs go over, all the kids run out and wave. I believe in you. I know nothing's ever gonna be the same, but I believe in you. I believe in us. Ames, I don't even know if you're alive anymore. The mails I get from you, they say they're from you, but they don't sound... They sound recycled. Phrases put together, and you don't say anything about the news I pass on. The containment zone, the rebreathers, the rioting, One Earth. What happened in the Dallas bubble, Ames, that wasn't the robots. They won't even give me a straight answer when I demand to know if you're still alive. They just say if your messages keep coming, then you're still operational. It's not fair, Ames. It's not fair that you won't be with me when the lights go out. I love you.
That's so sad. I'd have to ditch something. What is this?
That? It's a map.
A map of what?
Our world. The planet Earth, Aloy. It's not flat like you thought.
Why would I think that? During eclipses, the shadow cast on the moon is curved. So our world is a globe. And it looks like this, from a distance.
We'll discuss this another time. Back to the matter at hand.
The Faro robots were spreading across the world, eating everything up. Somehow, Elizabeth stopped them before it was too late. But how?
Oh, we got 15 minutes. What's that?
I got it.
Cool. Is that good? Oh, nice. Well, congrats, Char. Congrats. You guys did the luck. So now are you gonna go super fighting all the time there, Char?
The
That's a
eclipse.
machine.
Tampering with the metal devil. But I don't think they can wake it, do they?
Watch out!
Another Kobish. And this one can move. Quietly.
Oh, oh. Meh.
Another Kobish. And this one can move.
That's annoying. Outfit, the anti-range one, crafting, Let's get it. Oh. Okay. Try that.
Some soldiers no go. They had to fight hundreds of those all at once.
All right, we're at time. So get yourself in a place to. You understand, my friend? Okay. After you're done looking at your skills. Whenever you guys are ready, we could go through Bio Project video and then continue until we gotta go.
Got too much already.
Right there. All right. Okay. All right, friend. All right, JJ. Would you like me to boot up Bio Project? Okay. Hydration. Okay. So you're feeling good? What about food? You don't need to look at it? Okay.
The Book of the Prophet Nahum. This short prophetic book is a collection of poems announcing the downfall of one of Israel's worst oppressors, the ancient empire of Assyria, and its capital city, Nineveh. The Assyrians arose as one of the world's first great empires, and their expansion into Israel resulted in the total destruction and exile of the northern kingdom and its tribes. The Assyrian armies were violent and destructive on a scale that the world had never seen before, and so Israel and its neighbors were awaiting the downfall of Assyria, which eventually came in the year 612 BC. The Babylonians rose up and began a rebellion that overtook Nineveh and brought down the Assyrian Empire. And so chapter 2 depicts the fall of Nineveh in vivid poetry, and chapter 3 then explores the downfall of the empire as a whole. But this book isn't just an angry tirade against Israel's enemies. The introductory chapter shows us that there is way, way more going on here. The book opens with an incomplete alphabet poem that begins by describing a powerful appearance of God's glory. It's very similar to how the previous book, Micah, began and how the next book, Habakkuk, is going to conclude. And it's God, the all-powerful creator, coming to confront the nations and bring his justice on their evil. And the poem opens by quoting from the famous line of God's self-description after the golden calf incident in the book of Exodus chapter 34. The Lord is slow to anger. He's great in power. He won't leave evil unpunished. And so the rest of the poem goes back and forth, contrasting the fate of the arrogant, violent nations with the fate of God's faithful remnant. When God brings down all the arrogant empires, he will provide refuge for those who humble themselves before him. Now, here's what's really interesting, is that you thought this book was only about Assyria, but Nahum actually nowhere mentions Nineveh or Assyria in chapter 1. And when he describes the downfall of the bad guys, he uses Isaiah's language about the fall of Babylon, which happened much later in history. And not only that, Nahum also describes the downfall of the bad guys as good news for the remnant of God's people. It's a direct allusion to Isaiah's good news about the downfall of Babylon. And so all these little details from chapter 1, they come together to make a key point. For Nahum, the fall of Nineveh is being presented as an example, as an image of how God is at work in history in every age, how he won't allow the arrogant or violent empires of our world to endure forever. And so the message of Nahum is actually very similar to that of Daniel. Assyria stands in a long line of violent empires throughout history, and Nineveh's fate is a memorial to God's commitment to bring down the violent and the arrogant in every age. With this perspective from the opening chapter, the book then returns to its focus on Assyria. And so chapter 2 describes the Battle of Nineveh and the overthrow of the city in progressive stages. So first we see the front line of Babylonian soldiers, and then we read about the charge of the chariots, and then the chaos on the city walls as the city is breached, then the slaughter of Nineveh's people, then the plundering of the city. Chapter 3 goes on to describe the results of the city's downfall for the empire as a whole. So Nahum begins by announcing a woe upon the city whose kings built it with the blood of the innocent. It's an image of how injustice was built into the very system that made Assyria so successful. But their violence has sown the seeds of their own destruction, and so Assyria will fall before Babylon. The book concludes with a taunt against the fallen king of Assyria. He's stricken with the fatal wound, and from among all the nations that he once oppressed, no one comes to help him. Rather, they sing and celebrate his destruction. And that's how the book ends. Now, this is a gloomy book, but it's important to see how Nahum's message addresses the tragic and perpetual cycles of human violence and oppression in every age. Human history is filled with tribes and nations elevating themselves and using violence to take what they want, resulting in the death of the innocent. And the book of Nahum uses Assyria and Babylon as examples to tell us that God is grieved and that he cares about the death of the innocent, and that his goodness and his justice compel him to orchestrate the downfall of oppressive nations. And God's judgment on evil is good news, unless, of course, you happen to be Assyria. Which brings us all the way back to the conclusion of that opening poem in chapter 1, which tells us that the Lord is good and a refuge in the day of distress. He cares for those who take refuge in him. And so the little book of Nahum invites every reader to humble themselves before God's justice and to trust that in his time he will bring down the oppressors of every time and place. And that's what the book of Nahum is all about.
All right. So what's being said, friends? What's the empire? Nineveh. Yeah. Well, Nineveh and Assyria are the same thing. It's Nineveh is the capital of Assyria.
Boom.
Yeah, and so, at one scope, it's looking at the destruction of Nineveh, Assyria, but another, it's looking at the destruction of empires who use evil to usurp over the other. And so then there is going to be a day that we look forward to where human evil is addressed, that empires like it's actually by the grace of King Jesus of Yahweh that these evil empires are not allowed to live forever. All right, we can start, friends.
Dr. Sobek, as projected, the Wichita salient has collapsed. 5 Horus-class Titans have broken through. We predict contact in 34 hours.
Everything is in position, General. It took a few shortcuts to pull everything together, but Zero Dawn is functionally complete. Good to go.
That enduring victory served its purpose after all.
Yes, if we'd had even one day less.
I've sent you an encoded file, Doctor. Please do me the favor of archiving it.
I'll see what I can do. What is it?
A brief statement. An allocution of crimes, I guess you'd call it.
To what are you admitting guilt?
Over the past 16 months, Doctor, I have presided over the greatest wholesale slaughter of military personnel and civilians in the history of history. Genghis Khan, Hitler, Stalin, Sorabella. Add them all together. They don't even come close.
You didn't do the killing, General.
No, not directly. But I didn't wind up the highest ranked military commander in the United States by resisting the automation of the armed forces. Even before the swarm, Doctor, I was helping death along. So, instead of letting what I've done sink into the murk, forgotten, I've set a file with all the details. Let posterity judge my actions with clear vision.
I'll do as you ask, General. But you should consider that were it not for your actions, our actions, there wouldn't be any posterity to judge us.
Perhaps. Dr. Sobek,
At ease, General. And goodbye.
hell of a thing. Thank you, Dr. Sobek. You can take a seat.
What? You're going to thank her after what she just said?
Dr. Sobek has made the situation very clear, General, and given us an option. We should all be thanking her.
No, it's just... I mean, my God.
Maybe take this discussion offline.
There's not going to be any discussion. You saw the numbers. Now, Pharaoh, he'll foot the bill, but his money can't buy the time necessary to complete Zero Dawn. That can only be paid for in blood.
Oh, come on. If we upgrade our fleet, crack the code somehow...
Were you not listening? Robots can't do the fighting for you this time. When it comes to hacking, this rogue swarm is an apex predator. Anything automated you throw at it, they will hijack and take over.
But this... We'd be throwing civilians into a meat grinder.
Commanders, the enemy we're facing self-replicates faster than we can kill it. And it eats biomass as fuel. Zero Dawn is all we've got.
So we put a railgun in the hand of every civilian strong enough to carry one, show them where the trigger is, and point them to the front? How the hell do we sell that?
By giving them something to fight for. Zero Dawn. The top-secret superweapons program that will save us. So long as humanity holds off the swarm long enough for Dr. Sobek and her team to finish it. The file I'm sending contains the war plan for Operation Enduring Victory.
War plan? This is a war crime.
It may be ugly, but it's something. Consider the alternative. Dr. Sobek, I've secured use of a decommissioned orbital launch base outside Bryce, Utah as the Zero Dawn staging area. Plenty of space there. When can you get started?
I've already mailed you a list of alpha and beta candidates. Most are foreign nationals or subjects of corporate holdings, so extracting them...
Leave that to me. You'll get your dream team. Count on it.
Then I'll be off.
Orbital launch base. What is that? What did these people do? What did Elizabeth do? Glad to be rid of that place. Now I just need to find the orbital launch base they talked about.
I've checked my data and located the base. That's the good news.
And the bad?
It's directly underneath the Citadel. The palace at Sunfall.
The capital of the Shadow Carja. Not exactly convenient.
The palace is crawling with Eclipse agents. Many in positions of authority, all of them wearing focuses. The moment they see you, Hades will too. He'll issue another kill order, and this time, the entire Shadow Carja military will be after you.
So, disable their focuses. You've done it before.
It's not that simple. Too many focuses in one place, each of them communicating with each other and back to Hades, a whole network of them.
Network? What's that?
Imagine a vast, invisible web stretched across the land from end to end, connecting focuses together, allowing them to communicate over vast distances instantaneously.
All right, so is there some way to cut the web down?
Crash the network. Audacious. Yes, there is a way. A weak point in the network.
Point the way.
I'll send the location data to your focus. Head there, and I'll be in touch when you're close with more directions.
What was Zero Dawn? What sort of super weapon did Elizabeth
All right,
make?
we're getting off and
She stopped
bouncing in
machines.
45 and 40,
Not before the
44
world
minutes, my
she
friends.
knew her civilization ended. Let's hope it won't come to that again.
So, group text did that.
how am I gonna get down from here? Oh, this should be quite the ride. Might regret this.
Bum 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 bum.
The snow sets in quicker than frost.
Can you make more coffee? Can I get it? Oh. I was asking if I can get a spat of tea. Is it,
Can't
did
be
you
too
make it in a
prepared.
tea kettle or did you just, oh okay. What kind of tea is it? Actually, I'll take whatever you don't drink. The hashtag buff me. Oh, really? Does it teach you that, or is that something you guys figured out? Oh. Is that, I'm saying, like, is that something that you just think to us? The game tells you could do. Cool. Oh, that's actually, that's pretty nifty. Yeah.
Too. It's some kind of code. Maybe there's a clue nearby. I think the old ones use numbers like this to indicate time.
Oh yeah, they use military time. Okay, so 1200 is exactly on top. 1500 will be 3.
Maybe there's some more information nearby. Looks like each dial has 4 positions. Maybe if I get each dial in the right position.
I don't need a watch because I know from the hints.
Did it. Now to check the door.
Well, it's just
Those
also from
clamps
the
have
other
armor
missions.
locked in place.
And also this.
Maybe there's a way to power up the mechanism.
Oh,
Release
really?
the clamps. No room.
I mean, he just said friendship. And any game of friendship is better than
Just
no
need to
friendship.
install these power cells. That should do it.
Oh yeah. Any game that genuinely has a multiplayer component, it's just better to play. Right, if I don't get the ultra weave, cool. Nice try. Oh.
That brave. Sounds like he's suffering.
Yes. It's only a matter of time before he passes on. I've seen people die before, but never in such pain. I want to be strong like you, but nothing I do comforts him. I don't even have any dream willow to ease his pain. There should be some in stashes along brave trails to the east, but I must keep vigil for this man. I don't suppose you could check the stashes? Even a little dream willow would ease his pain.
I'll check the stashes for Dream Willow if I get a chance.
You will? Thank you. My only wish is to ease this poor man's suffering.
You're Aloy, aren't you? Everyone's talking about your victory at Devil's Grief. I feel blessed to stand in your presence.
There's no need to fuss over me. Who are you praying for?
My sister Nicola. She went north to find a Karja officer called Zaid, one of the captains of the Red Raids. I'm worried about her.
I'll keep an eye out for her.
Oh, Mother bless you. I know the matriarchs won't let her return to the Sacred Lands, but I just need to know that she's all right. She must have passed through Mother's crown. My Aunt Salai lives there. They might have spoken. Maybe she can tell you more. All Mother. Hear my prayer.
The Brave Trail. Should be a cache of Dream Willow up there. No Dream Willow. Just a few shards. Let's do this.
Yeah. Do do do. Do do do.
We're apart. Might be a cache of dream along that grave trail. Strange. Looks like someone swapped out the dream in these caches for shards.
You're back.
I've already been to those stashes. All I found was a few shards.
That's strange. Who would have taken the Dream Willow? It's possible that Jun has gathered more. You could ask him, if you're willing to make the journey.
I'll be on my way.
Goodbye.
All right, boys, we bounced 21 minutes.
in! Someone! Is someone there? Please, let me out! Oh, Mother be praised. I thought I'd never be freed.
What happened?
A gang of outcasts, that's what. They burst in, stole my dream willow, and left me to die.
Which way did the outcasts go?
Up the mountain, I think. You might catch them if you hurry. Whatever you do, don't let their shabby looks fool you. They'll kill you as soon as look at you. Oh, I need to catch my breath.
Yeah, you could stop talking for a start. The outcasts must have left tracks. My focus should pick them up.
Help me up!
Ouch!
Got it! Hit it again! I'm out of arrows!
The outcasts that took the Dream Willow. And they're in trouble. Come on. Good haul.
You heard it!
Going down fast.
You have our thanks, if the gratitude of outcasts means anything to you.
It does.
You not only save us, but speak to us.
The matriarchs cast me out at birth. The laws of the Nora don't mean much to me.
And you're that girl whose mother never claimed her. But an outcast no longer.
No. A seeker, in fact. Looking for Dream Willow.
That could be a problem.
There are others who need Dream Willow. You can't have all of it.
You asking or demanding?
Talking. One person to another.
I see. Perhaps we have more than we need. After everything that happened, we were afraid. We took all we could find. Here, I'll keep a portion, but the rest... may it find its way to those who need it.
I'll see that it does. In the meantime, stay safe. And stick together. Here's the Dream Willow. Take it to Fia and Mother's Rise. There are wounded braves there who need it badly.
I will. But what became of the outcasts? Did those wretches pay for their crimes? Ganging up together, speaking to each other, and to us. I hope you showed them no mercy.
You don't know who I am, do you?
Should I?
I was raised as an outcast in the mountains above Mother's Heart.
The motherless girl. If I'd known, I never would have spoken to you.
And yet it's this motherless girl who freed you and recovered your Dream Willow for the tribe. Maybe if you judged people less, you wouldn't be so lonely.
I have no need of others.
Then congratulations, Jun. You've managed to shun yourself. I'm done here. Make sure that Fia gets that Dream Willow, or I'll be back. This must be Mother's crowd. So I should be around here somewhere. War Chief Sona, you're reinforcing Mother's crown?
If the Nora are to weather another attack by the Metal Devil, we must brace our defenses. Still, the concern is not yours. You're not mine to command.
You can still ask, War Chief.
Very well. We need to harvest lance horns. They carry chill water, and their lenses have many uses also.
I've already hunted lance horns. I should have the parts you seek.
I'm not surprised, but I am grateful. I also need the watchtowers stocked with signal arrows. Take these to Orn's Tower in the south. If you would.
Are you Salai? Jan said your niece may have come through here. Nakoa.
I've got nothing to say about that.
Please, I only want to help. I'm a seeker headed north. Jan wanted me to help find her. Anything you tell me stays between us.
I gave her supplies for the journey. She was headed for Daytower, looking for Zaid. Nothing I could say would stop her.
I'll look for Nakoa when I reach Daytower.
She can't come back. The matriarchs won't allow it. But I'd be so grateful if you could find her and help her if she needs it. And please, keep this between us.
I will. I promise.
All right, I'm gonna say in 4 minutes we'll do it. So I just want to make sure that we're back in the time that was asked. You hear that, Broheim?
You're Orn? Aren't you a little young to be a sentinel?
You can talk.
Fair. The war chief had me bring you these fire arrows. Send up a signal the moment you see anything suspicious, all right?
I know, I'm young, not stupid. If they come back...
Just be safe.
The trip down's the best part.
Whoever's in charge here might know if Nakoa came through.